Inside a starship, a man prepares his power suit for an upcoming battle. He has prepared everything, his mind, his body. He used all the enhancements available to give him the advantage he needs. As he cocks his gun, the soldier prepares for an all-out war. A landing ship drops on an asteroid, deploying Team A01 from the starship Alesia. During the briefing, Lieutenant Daugherty underscores their main objectives. The team needs to clear away the bugs on United Citizen Federation's Fort Casey and evacuate any remaining survivors. They also plan a rendezvous with the K-12 team at the fort, who have continuously defended from an infinite army of bugs. The team prepares for a standard snatch and go, ready to shoot anything that walks on more than 2 legs. As they land, they immediately engage bugs, huge 4-legged aliens with an exoskeleton that can take massive amounts of firepower. They immediately connect with the last surviving K-12 team member, the Fort Casey troopers. Daugherty tasks Mech to plant explosive charges while the others cover him from behind. The group mows its way through a massive bug infestation. The LT reports that there is no way to take back Fort Casey, preparing to destroy the ship as soon as possible. Charleston gets impaled by one of the bugs, but the team immediately tries to support him after. Meanwhile, Minister Carl Jenkins arrives at the Starship John A. Warden, met by ship captain Carmen Ibanez. They argue over the commandeering of the starship, with Ibanez arguing about the hostile takeover. Regardless, Jenkins sends Ibanez to the Alesia, with the former talking about the ship's special mission. Team A01 decimates the bugs in front of them, slowly exiting Dock B. As they rendezvous with Team K-12. They learn that Major Henry Hero Vero, the commander of the K-12 team, was relieved of his duties and escorted to Alesia as a prisoner. Jenkins performs the arrest with his people, mockingly saluting them in the process. As Team A01 evacuates, they see the John A. Warden fly away without them. More bugs attack the team, slowly overrunning the team. Alesia docks with Fort Casey for emergency evacuation of the surviving troopers, with much of the team suffering injuries. As they walk through the boarding corridor, the team finds their sniper support, Trig, ready to help them from the rear. The team continues their retreat, with more and more bugs starting to run after them. Alesia leaves in the nick of time, evading a massive crowd of bugs ready to attack the starship. The team detonates the charges in Fort Casey, destroying the base while they fly away from it. While en route, the team starts to relax. The survivors of K-12, including Sergeant Major Guy Ratsass Cunningham, complain about the suicide mission that Jenkins gave them. During this time, Daugherty tries to pep up his troops, ready to celebrate their recent success. During the downtime, Trooper Bugspray and Ratsass try to hit on Ice Blonde, a corporal from the A01, who is going to take a shower. As he tries to make passes on her, Ice Blonde takes over the conversation, even showing her full frontal moving towards him. This takes Ratsass by surprise, stunning him out of his own bravado. Bugspray takes this time to laugh at his comrade, much to his embarrassment. Meanwhile, Major Hero Vero is detained in an isolation room with continuous surveillance. While en routing to Earth, Ibanez visits the bridge of Alesia, who exchanges information with its captain Jonah. She interrogates the ship captain about the whereabouts of her ship, only to have Daugherty say his captain. Ibanez insists on finding information, including the John A. Warden's flight path, but to no avail. With no more leads, Ibanez relents. Meanwhile, at the medbay, Gunfodder had his arm bitten off during their recent outing. Team Dr. Shockjock prepares him for surgery, needing to amputate the arm to prevent any further damage. Gunfodder only requested his family not know about his arm. The ship shook as Shatterjock pulled out a round saw. Shockjock's hand continued to shake, so Gunfodder instructed him to wait until it stopped. At the same time, Chow trains his martial arts on the docks, only to have Ratsass mock him for his routine, making the team laugh. Chow invites Ratsass for a quick spar, as the team eggs them on. In the beginning, he largely avoided Ratsass's attacks, including sending him into a crate of boxes. The fight ended when Chow attempted to strike Ratsass with a kick to the head, but the lumbering soldier, urged on by Ice Blonde with a quick boo flash, blocked the kick and grabbed Chow's leg, leading to a hefty punch. Everyone present laughed after the fight ended in a draw, as both men sprawl on the floor. In other parts of the ship, Bugspray finds his new room locked. Trig, who lived in the room across the hall, stepped outside and assisted him in opening the door. However, the room had no bed in it, prompting Trig to invite him into her room. As they talk about her Merida XXX sniper rifle, she comes to enjoy his flirting. In the course of a discussion, Bug Spray gets to have sex with her, giving them some much-needed R&R. In another room, Daugherty looks up details about Vero, learning that he's a highly decorated soldier. He questions why he's in custody. Meanwhile, Shock Jock replaced Gunfodder's left arm using a standard-issue prosthetic arm. He informs Gunfodder that the arm could be modified on Terra. After he received his new arm, Gunfodder wonders why Shock Jock was nervous, only to learn from Shock Jock that he was the first living trooper he had worked on. Bug Spray and Trig continue to have pillow talk, telling how the bugs decimated her town with a plasma bomb. Trig vowed to kill just as many bugs as the people who were killed in her town. Meanwhile, Ibanez is still upset about the events that transpired, only for an emergency alarm to call everyone and converge. Daugherty convenes the team for a briefing by General John Rico from High Command at L6 Satellite Base. Rico details that John A. Warden is missing, with almost no leads where it came. He ordered Alesia to divert course to find the starship and investigate the events that happened. When General Rico asked if there was any question, Ratsas stood up, speaking for all of the survivors of Fort Casey. He asked them to pursue the mission with one condition: having Hero lead the team. Rico grants them permission as long as Hero was willing to take part. He also notes that it will offer no merit or demerit to his ongoing case. Rico then dismissed the troopers to meet with Carmen, who accuses him of having let Carl take her ship. In his defense, Rico said the ship is technically Federation property, and he wasn't aware of Carl's mission details. However, Carmen thinks Carl turned off the John A. Warden signal. Rico suggests she join the insertion team since she's the only one who knows the ship well. Carmen agreed to it, but she says it's not so she can save Carl, but to retake her ship. Rico attempts to ask her out when she returned to Earth, but she walked out on him. Later, Lieutenant Daugherty tries to brief Vero about the situation, but the Major stays silent throughout the entire process. Ibanez barges in, annoyed at the idea of saving Jenkins, but she tries to convince Vero that his men need him. They finally convince Vero, who is ready to do his part. The Alesia discovers the location of the John A. Warden, prompting the troopers to prepare. The entire team suits up, preparing to go on board. Alesia's bridge tries to hail the ship, but to no avail. Vero comes out ready, leading Team 02 with members from both K-12 and A-01. As the teams go aboard the John A. Warden, they come in and go into a nearly dead ship, with no signs of life at all. Team 01 escorted Captain Ibanez to the bridge while the K-12 team secured the engine room. Team 01 starts moving through the corridors, only to find dead crew members all over. Team 02 finds the same situation in their path, with both teams seeing signs of struggle all over. 01 successfully secures the bridge while 02 starts to have the engine prepared. As Major Vero searches for the survivor, they find a deranged Carl Jenkins hidden inside a holding cell. He warns everyone not to power up the ship, as she had hacked all the systems. His warnings are too late, as the engines recharge the John A. Warden. This activates an arachnid queen inside, who took control of all systems and opened bulkhead doors to release her warrior bugs. This starts the doom of the rescue team, who is overrun by hordes upon hordes of bugs. One by one, the teams start to die, with the bugs winning by sheer attrition. Chow tries to fight his way, only for a bug to impale him from behind. As Ibanez and the troopers attempted to return to Alesia, more and more casualties come up. Gunfodder loses limbs again, dying in the process. The Arachnid Queen then uses John A. Warden's main weapons to destroy the Alesia, destroying it and shuttling Shock Jock into space. The team returns to the bridge, preparing to find any way for rescue. The Queen then goes on to drive John A. Warden into a wormhole, whose outlet is in near-Earth space. Vero reveals that his arrest comes from Jenkins' orders to capture the Queen alive on Fort Casey, but Vero had refused to sacrifice his squad. Regardless, Ibanez wonders how an Arachnid Queen has the capacity to control a starship, only for it to continue traveling into the wormhole. Trig decides to hunt for the Queen, using the ship vents to move around in stealth. Ibanez tries to take over discreetly, but the Queen immediately catches onto the squad, shooting them straight into the wormhole where most of time stood still. As the starship gets out, the L6 base in Earth orbit detects the John A. Warden, finding that there's something wrong as it comes out. General Rico hails the starship, but to no avail. Meanwhile, the team continues to fight the bugs inside. While the team is unable to send a message to L6 base, they send a de facto Morse code to it by firing weapons to create a light signal. Rico deploys 3 starships, the Franklin and fast attack ships Sheridan and Ishizuka, from the L6 base in Earth orbit. Regardless, all ships are unable to fight back the extreme firepower of the John A. Warden. The starship goes on a crash course towards L6 base, only to pass them by and set the bug-infested ship on a trajectory to crash land in Paris. As the starship starts crash landing, the remaining squad inside it prepare to hunt for the Queen while defending the bridge. During this period, Alpha Team Sniper Trig managed to shoot out several wires linking the Queen to the ship, giving Ibanez enough time to redirect the John A. Warden to crash in a mountain range. During this time, however, the bugs catch Trade and kill her in the process. As the ship crashed, Ibanez tries to call anyone in the team, only to discover that Daugherty died during the crash. Ibanez moves around the broken starship, looking for signs of life. Meanwhile, General Rico leads a squad of troopers in Marauder MK2 to stop the bugs from escaping the crash site. The High Command gives him 30 minutes before they drop nuclear missiles from the L6 station to sanitize the site. Back on the John A. Warden, the remaining soldiers continue holding off the warrior bugs. A plasma bug was ready to melt Ice Blonde, only for Holy Man to save her in the nick of time, who dies from his wounds. Rico drops his entire team on the crash site, ready to contain the existing threat. The remaining troops continue to move, planning to evacuate. Later on, Rico's team starts to bombard the ship with micro-missiles. Hero, Ratsass, Mech, and Bug Spray go on their way towards the Queen, while Ice Blonde goes on to protect Captain Ibanez at a nearby airlock. Hero orders Mech and Ratsass go to the engine room to set charges. Vero and Bug Spray find Trig's corpse, but the latter gets wounded in an ambush. Bug Spray uses Trig's family-made sniper rifle to buy Vero some time to reach the Queen. As Vero fights his way through, Jenkins, having recovered from his mental breakdown, provides Vero some backup. Vero uses the Federal intelligence bugs, revealing an important breakthrough in the war and the reason for capturing a live Queen. Rico and a soldier were the only 2 from his squad to reach the John A. Warden. However, the other soldier was caught in the blast and killed when the Queen destroyed an extra extraction shuttle from L6. Meanwhile, Jenkins tries to work with Vero, promising that he can try getting him closer to the Queen. During this time, the Queen uses Daugherty's corpse to negotiate with Vero, with a skirmish happening at the engine room. Later, the L6 launched the nuclear missiles, but the tactic failed too. During this time, Bug Spray falls at last, killing more than 24 bugs during this time. The Queen starts to deploy her bugs out of the starship. Mech then reveals that he installed C4 on the ship's engine, which will kill the Queen and the troopers inside. Jenkins leads the team to his shuttle from Fort Casey, with Rico rushing to distract the Queen and rescue Vero. However, Vero is critically injured from the fighting, but he detonates a grenade, killing himself along with the bugs surrounding him. Rico goes on a rampage but runs out of ammo in the process. He abandons his broken Marauder and uses a combat knife on one of the Queen's eyes. This buys Ibanez enough time to make takeoff preparations for the remaining troopers. Bugs continue to pursue Rico, sprinting back into the shuttle as it worked its way out of the John A. Warden. The shuttle escapes before the explosives detonated, destroying the John A. Warden and everything around it. Amidst the fire and smoke, Ratsass, Ice Blonde, and Mech pay their respects to their fallen comrades. Ibanez confronts Jenkins over the recent crises. Jenkins sidesteps the issue, telling Rico and Ibanez that his research would someday save the entire galaxy. Jenkins gloats at Rico, calling him a hero, only for the latter to turn this down, saving he simply met one instead. In the aftermath, one warrior bug successfully escapes, navigating a sewer system, having survived the destruction of the John A. Warden.